What about the funniest deals? Any deals or even no deals that kind of stick out that maybe blew up spectacularly for the right or wrong reasons? Is there anything that comes to mind? Any horror stories, mate?
Yeah, I've got two. Well, I don't. I
Hit
have
me.
loads. I have loads, but I've got two main ones that I probably won't get in trouble for talking about. So the first one was I was doing a demo face to face. So obviously, pre-COVID, you did business with human beings in a room with other human beings, right? So you would have multiple people in a room and you would be there physically having conversations with these people and talking about what you're doing. And you would stand at the front if you're selling software and you would show them the demo on the software, right?
Mhm.
So this was in the UK, and it was like, well, it was one of the last. So both of this actually is two of the last deals that I was working on before I came over here, and one of them was in Nottingham. So I had to get the train up to Nottingham, and it was a scorch. It was probably one of the only days of the British year that we hit over 25 degrees, and in the UK that is scorching, especially with UK buildings. They're built to keep the heat in. So anyway, I'm obviously on one of the hottest days of the year. I'm going to wear a pale blue shirt to my meeting, which is always a really good idea to wear on a hot day. So I'm coming in and standard with the British train system. It was delayed, the train. So I'm already in a rush now, and I've got to walk uphill from the Nottingham train station to where this place was, right? I don't know Nottingham at all, so I'm not going to pretend I remember the route I took, but I can tell you there was a massive fucking hill to get to this office, and it was a bloody hot day, and I was wearing a pale blue shirt. And by the time I got to the office, I was already huffing and puffing, and I'm late. So I'm not happy at all. Anyway, so they put me in this room and there was no air conditioning in this office. No air. This was the hottest room I have ever been in my life. They didn't even crack a bloody window. And they were like, here we are. And I was like, okay, awesome. They're like, oh, cool. So if you can just set up, we'll get it. I was like, no, right, brilliant. No worries. They told me that, so they had they didn't have an HDMI cable for me. But I had a spare HDMI cable in my bag. So anything you're going to learn, if you're going on a meeting, take your own connectivity cables just in case, because they didn't have one for me. I had to use my own, and it was a short cable. It's probably about this big. So I couldn't, usually in these scenarios, you would sit at the table, maybe at the head of the table, and there'd be a screen behind you, and you'd be demoing on the screen on your laptop, right? And you'd be talking through screen share. Well, the cable wasn't long enough for me to sit at the table. So I had to stand next to the TV screen with my laptop in one hand and my mouse and my finger on the trackpad and the mouse, talking through the screen using one hand to type and do everything with this demo, which sounds pretty easy, right? But the room was so hot, I'm sweating so much that the sweat is dripping off my face onto my laptop, and I actually had to get my shirt screen on the trackpad and wipe the sweat off the trackpad because the mouse wouldn't move because my laptop was too wet because I was sweating so much because this room was so fucking hot. So I got through the whole demo. By the time I finished the demo, my shirt's dark blue. Dark blue. I am dripping. So I was like, it's quite hot in this room. At the very, very part of this fucking demo, one of the people in the office came in with an electric fan, like a big fan. It was like, oh, do you need a fan in here? I'd been in there for an hour sweating out, and she rocks in with this fan. That was up there with some of the worst demos. They didn't buy the product. I don't think I wouldn't have bought from me on that day, to be fair. So lesson learnt then, ask if they've got AC in advance, and don't wear pale blue on a hot day. Um, and the second one, and you might want to edit out this story, you might not. I don't know the kind of vibe that you're going with, but it's a funny story, and
We're
it's
going uncensored, mate. So yeah, it's going
okay.
to stay in.
All right, fair do. It's not a bad one, but it just depends on the people. So I working in like a big office, you like to play pranks on people, right? So I used to love playing pranks. You remember some of the pranks I used to play on some of the people, putting like plugging wireless keyboards into the back of people's laptops, playing tricks, etc. One of my favorite pranks that I like to do was you get someone's notebook, and it like far in the back of the notebook, so they might not find this for like 3 or 4 weeks, you draw a little penis. But you like a good, like, a well thought out artistic copy of a penis, not a, like 13. I'm talking Superbad the movie, the closing credits when they kind of go in proper characters. So anyway, You do those. So one of the lads, he worked in implementation. So I did it in the back of the book. He didn't have a massively client-facing role. So he did most of his stuff online. So I could draw a penis in the back of his book. He wasn't ever going to get in trouble. Okay. Now, I obviously was having meetings with people face to face, and I didn't realise that he got me back. And this was the last meeting I had before I came over here. And we're standing and I'm talking them through and I'm taking some notes, and I just went over to the next page, and there is, in an A5 paper, an entire page of just a massive penis sitting right there. And the guy was sat next to me. So we're sat next to each other on the table, and he's just looked over and looked at me, and I've got to like turn the page again. And and we both had a little smirk. It was a funny moment. We moved straight past it. But be careful when you play
Mate,
pranks, because they will come back and
it
bite
was
you in the arse.
you started that trend in our office that stuck around for so damn long. I used to sometimes I pop to the loo, I come back, and my whole pad is covered in cocks. And honestly, and then sometimes you evolve the game. So then it was like, right, someone opens their drawer and it's not even at the top. It's like you take out the first thing. It's just like massive dong. Oh, mate, honestly, that trend started. It just went viral across our sales floor. There was that, and
That
then you
was
had
good.
like me and Scott like shooting people with Nerf guns as well on top of it. So it was cocks and Nerf pellets and bullets flying around for ages, mate.
Good
But
office. That sounds like a good office.
it was a great office, mate. I will say on that as well, two cracking stories. It reminds me of one where you know Irvin, right?
Yeah.
So Irvin and I went down to a meeting in Tunbridge Wells, and Irvin opened the door because he was with our parent company at the time, right? So
Yeah.
he'd opened the door, set this meeting up. So I was like, yes, sweet. Let's go down. We'll take it down. And we're going down, we're meeting with the CEO, we're meeting with the head of operations, and we're meeting with the marketing director, right? So it's no small meeting. And we get there and they take us into this room, and it's a big old room. And instead of plugging it into a TV or anything, they've got a big projector. So we're like, all right, sweet. We'll just hook it up to projector. It just projects out onto the wall. It's like massive, like probably like 80, 90-inch projection, right? So we're sitting down. Irvin does the pleasantries. We get on. We're having a conversation. We're doing a bit of discovery, and then we get to the point where we're doing a demo, right? So I'm in charge of running the software demo. Irvin's there, set the scene. We've plugged it into the projector, and as I'm typing away and talking to them, the screen's gone out of focus. The projector, something's wrong with it, right? So it's gone a little bit blurry, but we've already started the demo. So I can't stop. So I'm carrying on. And I don't know if you remember, I don't know if the platform's still the same, but on the second page, when you're filling out all the mandatory fields,
Yeah.
I'm doing that. And obviously that's the one with the job title as well on there, right? So I always used to go default account manager, just very straightforward. And then you fill out all the other fields.
So I
So
think
as I'm talking to
let's
them,
just map it out. So for anyone listening that obviously doesn't know what we sell, so it's a job posting software. Step one, you're going to select the job boards. So step two is an admin form where you're going to be writing in information around the job, and then step three, you're going to preview the advert and send it out. So we're talking online form here, page two, right?
exactly that. Page 2, job title bit, right? So I fill it out, account manager, but I'm obviously talking to them as well. Now, we can't see anything at the moment because it's all blurry. So Irvin stepped up and he's like, I'm going to fix this. Don't worry. So whilst we're running this meeting, I've got Irvin standing on the table, this boardroom table that we're all part of, bashing the projector. Right? I'm trying to ignore him, and you know, Irvin's not easy to ignore, right? He's a big personality at the best of times, right? And he's a top lad, so he's trying to fix this and still get involved in the conversation. I've got the CEO, I've got the head of operations asking me questions, the marketing director asking me questions. I'm typing away and also focusing on them, and then suddenly Irvin's like, "Boom, got it, sorted," and it zooms in clear focus on the job title field. But as I'm talking to them whilst I'm typing, I've missed the O out on account. So now the title reads account manager without the O in big letters. Bearing in mind, I don't know these people, they don't know me, and they've just seen account without the O plastered all over their wall. And I've gone, oh shit. I've looked at them, they've looked at me. There's a bit of silence. And then the CEO, Paddy, just started cracking up. He's like, that's an interesting job title, isn't it? And the head of operations then made a joke about it. He's like, oh, I wouldn't mind that job. I was like, fair play, mate. And we all just had a laugh and a giggle. It was a quality meeting, mate. But just the image of Irvin on the desk smashing this projector to pieces while I'm trying to run a demo. We ended up closing the deal, which
fair play,
was
mate,
great.
fair
And then
play.
we actually tried to upsell them. So Irvin got me involved. I sold them the software piece, and then we tried to upsell them with another product we had under the umbrella. So I took Ian down with me as well.
Oh, was
And
that like a
or
text
Ian
kernel,
Mack.
jobby?
Yeah, TK, yeah. And he went down there. When he went down there, he put his phone down on the table, and the first thing one of the chaps did in the meeting was knock over their glass of water all
Oh,
over his phone and
no.
laptop. So
Same
it's one of those
company.
messy ones, mate. Same company, but
Same
mate,
company.
yeah,
Blimey.
but mate, it was just one. It was an honest mistake, and it was funny as hell. I'm still in good contact with those guys over there. One of the guys is still there. So great company, great outfit, great agency.
Yeah,
But yeah, we still laugh about that story to this day. So I
it was
thought I
good.
would share it, mate. Yeah, it was a good one. We had a few, mate. I had a few with Carlo in particular, but we'll have to save that for another day.